Hey guys, and welcome to the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report presented by Angelo Di Paola, the Coastal Connection with eXp Realty, the first podcast to bring you the local inshore, offshore, and onshore fishing report, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. All right, guys and gals, AFCO has a new promotion for all Great Days Outdoors Podcast Network listeners. They are now offering a camo sunglasses cleaner cloth with any purchase of AFCO products. It is a great time of year to fish if you're prepared for the cold. Their Reaper hoodie is the real deal, and I love their helm gloves. All you have to do to get your coupon code is text ALSFR to 779-345-2918. Again, just text ALSFR to 779-345-2918 to subscribe to our email list, and we'll send you the promo code via email. All right, folks, today on the Alabama Saltwater Fishing Report, we got a special guest joining us on the show. Spiro Cheriogotis. He's a lifelong Alabamian, small business owner, and an outdoorsman, most importantly. Spiro is also a candidate for mayor of Mobile now. I'd like to bring Spiro on the show just to talk about some things that are important to every fisherman, hunter, and definitely small business owners around our area. The stuff in the Mobile Bay has been a big topic of conversation, and there's lots of other stuff that I'd like to talk to Spiro about today as well. So, Spiro, welcome to the show, man. How are we doing?
Butch, thank you for having me, my friend. Doing well out on the campaign trail, having fun, meeting people. I want to say I am an outdoorsman, but I'm a much better outdoorsman when I have a friend like you who knows what they're doing with me.
That's right. Same here. Everybody needs a little guidance every now and again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can get it done on my boat sometimes, but it's always good to go with Richard Rutland or Patrick Garmison or some of those guys that do it every day to keep their finger on the pulse.
Hey, you put some flounder on the end of my hook and triple tail.
Yeah,
All back.
that's right. Need to do it more often, man. Just too busy these days.
Amen.
Well, man, for the people that live around our area to listen to the podcast, there's a lot going on. There was a mayor race that ended in a runoff. So tell us kind of what's the next steps.
Yeah, runoff coming up. Runoff's coming up on September 23rd. It was a pretty quick turnaround, only 4 weeks. And so we're just, we're out here working, making sure that we touch every person that we can in the city. Want to introduce myself to every voter I can. It's going to come down to each and every vote. So I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to be able to lay my head on the pillow no matter what happens and know that I did everything I could to make sure we keep this city moving forward.
That's right, man. Well, as I kind of mentioned there in the intro, there's lots of things kind of up in the air being thrown around, talking about small business owners. I would assume that a lot of our podcast listeners are obviously fishermen that care about the bay, that care about drainage, that care about protecting what we have here that's so special to our area. Kind of tell us a little bit about people that don't know about Spiro. Tell us about your background and what inspired for, you to run for mayor of Mobile and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a family man first, 4 children. My wife, Lucy, of course, she's in the grocery business. So small, not so small, but family owned business. I grew up in a family owned business, and I want to make sure that good, sound, fiscal management continues for the city. That's a huge, people that are going to move to our city or invest in our city, they want to know that their tax dollars are being spent well. And so that's something I wanted to make sure of. And as a father, you've got 2 little ones. I want to make sure they're safe, and in my time as judge and prosecutor, I served as both the judge and prosecutor here in Mobile. I see some of the worst things that happen in our community, and it's one thing to preside over crime, to prosecute crime. What I like about the opportunity as mayor is you can work to prevent crime. You can work with your police department to prevent crime. You can work with nonprofits and your faith community to reach out to young people who, might be at risk of entering a life that is not good, and divert them, not just, divert them away from negative circumstances and into opportunity. We got a lot of opportunity coming up in this city, a lot of opportunity for good, well-paying jobs that you can build a life around. And I want to direct more Mobilians to those jobs. So Mobile is getting the full benefit of all these jobs we are adding to our economy.
Yep, absolutely, man. All great points. You mentioned a few there, but what do you think are the biggest pain points that just you see that entrepreneurs and small business owners are facing right now around our area?
Well, every dollar matters. When you're opening up a business, every dollar matters. The economy is somewhat unpredictable these days. Of course, interest rates are fairly high right now, so I want people to pursue their passions and their dreams. One little thing that I've looked at for small businesses is having $0 business license fees for that first year. It only saves you a couple $100, but $200 on the front end matters. And so as long as you're a small business under a certain, we'll cap it. If you come in and open a new business and you make $8 million that year,
Right.
we'll talk. But if you're under $250,000, say maybe up to 500, I want you to invest in Mobile, and I want to help you do that. But as a small business owner, you understand that you've gotta interact with the city a lot. And if you're building something, if you're adding on, so the reception you receive at the permitting level matters a lot. And right now in Mobile, we got there's a real pain point when it comes to our permitting process. And talking to a lot of my friends who are engineers and builders, there are some efficiencies that need to be built in. But one thing I want to bring, I'm a small business owner. I have a little barbecue restaurant in Dothan. It was my dad's restaurant, and I just trying to carry on his legacy. But we need some customer service. Government businesses, if you don't have customer service, you're probably not going to have too many customers.
That's a
And I'm
fact.
afraid, so I'm afraid that Mobile is missing out on some customers because of our lack of customer service. And so I want anybody who's trying to build something, who's trying to open a business, I want them to receive, open arms, a smile, someone who's ready to help and excited to help them as they enter on this journey so that we can have more successful people right here in Mobile. That customer service is something that government has not always had to have. But if Mobile is going to reach its full potential, I think it's something we have to have right here in Mobile.
Yeah, yeah, make it a little more inviting instead of so painful, like you say, just kind of decreasing those pain points, making it easier barriers to entry, so to speak.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that. I've heard you before talk about the city contracts and talking about giving local companies, kind of preference. What would that look like and how would it benefit, mom and pops?
Yeah, when the city puts out an RFP, RFE, RFD for design, you can, you build out your parameters, what you're looking for. But in how you award that, you can show favoritism if it's all local dollars to local companies. And I think that's important because, if we're spending, $30 million on a building for the city, whether that $30 million stays in our community or not matters. And I want that money staying within our tax base and our tax system. But the other reason I think it really matters is when you've got local builders building, the duct work, putting in the electrical, doing the concrete work, and you build, let's say, a new Dave and Buster's. That's more impetus for them to bring their family there and say, hey, I remember when we did this. I remember when we laid that concrete. I remember when we, put up that sheetrock. And I want people to have pride in their work, and I want them to be able to enjoy that. And so in my travels and talking to people, I've heard that point made by a lot of local companies. So from a dollars and cents standpoint for the city's revenue, I think it makes sense. But man, just from a personal point of pride in your own city, I think that's a big deal. So it's something I'm very much focused on doing.
Yeah, I love the sound of that, man. You're, trying to put food in the people's mouths that matter to our city.
And look, the tax dollars, it's not my money. If I'm the next mayor, I'm not spending my money. I'm spending our money, our tax dollars. And the only reason we have those tax dollars is because people are living in this city, they're spending money in this city, and they're operating their business in this city. So if there's a little favoritism, if we're willing to, look, if a bid is $5 million, $5 million more on $100 million build, 5%. Well, if 95% of that money is staying in our economy, that makes sense. It makes sense to me to spend a little extra to keep the bulk of it right here instead of losing it to, Mississippi or Birmingham or anywhere else.
Yep. Yeah, keep those dollars here, like you say, for the overall good of Mobile as a whole, for doing things, that you've talked about, but also paying the mortgages and putting food in our kids' mouths.
That's right.
It all matters, man. I've heard you talk about the drainage in several different areas, and it's an issue that I've heard people have been talking about for years. And I think a lot of residents have also heard this pain point as well. What's your plan there? Tell us a little bit about your drainage across the city.
Yeah, when you look at our system, it's really based on a lot of, these concrete canals. Some would call them ditches. Honestly, most of them have moving water at all times, so they're really a stream. But we when you look at those, that's where all the water flows. Generally, all the water in Mobile is going to flow out towards the bay or down into Dog River or down towards the rivers. And when I'm going around looking at these canals, A, we're doing a full audit right now to just understand what they're all made of, whether they're concrete, earthen, or something else. The fact that we don't have that kind of bothers me, but we'll get that done. But we've got to have them operating at full capacity. Our streets can only drain if they've got somewhere to go. And if our canal system is filled up with dirt, muck, stopped up with litter, um, our system can't operate at full capacity. And I'll tell you, it's not operating at full capacity. I've gone around, I had a video at one point, but went around with our public works director, and in an 8 foot deep concrete ditch, there's an 8 foot tall island that's grown up. I went behind one public works building, and there's got to be at least a 6-year-old willow tree growing in a concrete bottom ditch. We've got to maintain the dredging of our ditches. And look, the city's got a lot of priorities. And I'm not here to criticize any previous priorities, but I know that we've got to get this fixed right now because, we do live in an area that sometimes gets these large rain events at a certain season of the year. I don't talk about them. I'm not bringing those things around here,
That's right.
but I worry. If we get a big one of those big rain events, half of Mobile could be underwater, and I've experienced this pain point personally during this campaign. We had a day where about a foot of rain, 11, 12 inches fell in 3 hours or so, and it had been raining. My house flooded because my street flooded because my stormwater system got overwhelmed, and it all came in the back door of my house. Fans and blowers and dehumidifiers, and
Oh
thank,
man,
thank
it's a
God
nightmare.
it was hard to sleep for a little while there, but I know what it can do, and I'm thankful that financially we were able to survive that. But so many people are running really tight lines on their budgets these days. It's hard out there. Inflation is real, and we got to make sure that we're protecting, Mobilians' investments in Mobile. And I think getting that stormwater system right it's high on my list.
That segment was brought to you by Stay Put Anchor. Serious shallow water anglers count on Stay Put Anchor to do exactly what the name says: keep smaller boats locked in place. Fast, quiet, and without dropping a heavy, noisy hook. Built in the USA and designed for boats under 24 feet, Stay Put's solid fiberglass pole spikes pair with marine grade bow, stern, or drill free motor mounts for quick installation. So more time spent fishing, less rigging. Choose 6 foot to 12-foot pole options in the versatile super handle to stake out on flats, sandbars, or in the pads. Affordable, dependable, and proven by anglers nationwide. Learn more or build a custom kit at stayputanchor.com. And also brought to you by Ceto. Boaters know that the unexpected can happen anytime. That's why Ceto offers 24/7 on-water assistance with priority service for members. Whether it's a dead battery, running out of fuel, or needing a tow, Ceto's fleet is ready to help. Membership includes unlimited towing with no distance or dollar limits in your home area, fuel delivery, jump starts, and more. Plus, members receive exclusive discounts on fuel, electronics, dockage, and boat insurance. With over 500 ports nationwide, Ceto has you covered wherever you boat. Join today at ceto.com and boat with confidence. And also brought to you by Fish Bites. Whether you are hitting the sand with set rigs, using the traditional scent strips for pompano, or fishing the flats or marshes for speckled trout, redfish, and flounder, Fish Bites has something for you. Family owned and operated in St. Augustine, Florida, they pride themselves on making reliably consistent fishing products for anglers of all ages around the world. Fish Bites baits and lures are made with pride in the Sunshine State, USA. Check out the full line of scented saltwater and freshwater baits at fishbites.com. And also brought to you by Dixie Supply and Baker Metalworks. Baker Metalworks and Dixie Supply offer numerous items to help get your project done right the first time. They carry a variety of different panel profiles in your choice of colors and gauges with all the matching trim and accessories. They also offer a full line of hardware items and post-frame building designs. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales representatives are always willing to help answer any questions or concerns that you may have. Contact them with any questions or get a free estimate today. Baker Metalworks and Dixie Supply, your metal roofing headquarters. And also brought to you by Bucks Island. Bucks Island is a family-owned and operated business since 1948. They have new pontoon boats, bass boats, bow riders, and aluminum boats for sale. They love trade-ins for boats and motors. They can rig your boat or ship your new motor anywhere in the United States. They provide boat service on all kinds of boats, even if they weren't purchased from Bucks. They have factory trained and certified technicians. Visit them at Highway 77, Southside, Alabama 35907, or give them a call at 256-442-2588. Let's talk about the bay a little bit. Obviously, talked about you're an outdoorsman, frequent Mobile Bay, catch a lot of fish in the same areas as we do. Why is preserving Mobile Bay and this estuary such a priority?
When I went to school, I studied biology. I love fish. I love, salamanders. I love all those things. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that. But ecosystems are very delicate things. And Mobile Bay is our greatest natural resource, and it's bordered to the north by one of America's greatest natural resources, the Delta, most biodiverse area in the entire, continental U.S. We've got to protect that. We've got to make sure that we're not putting things into our water that we can't get out. Of course, the deepening and widening of the channel is something that economically we need.
Absolutely.
I'm excited it's happening, but we can't risk the health of our ecosystem, in expense for that economic impact. So, I look at it and look, I have friends on both sides of this issue. Some will say, hey, this is an accepted practice all over the place. It won't have permanent impact. And that might be true. But just because it's right for some areas doesn't mean it's right for our bay. And I can't ignore my friends who are commercial fishermen, my friends who are out there oystering, who say, hey, like, we're noticing a huge negative effect. We're experiencing oyster die-offs that we've never experienced before. We can't wait for an entire body of science to develop over 4 or 5 years as we're doing this, and it get too far down the road where we can't turn back the clock. I'll tell you, I'm really excited. Our Senator Katie Britz made a big issue about this on the Senate floor. We're going to have to keep this canal dredged for the rest of time. And, we're in an active river system. We got to make sure we're putting this dredge to good use. And if we're not putting it to good use, we need to put it somewhere where it's not going to damage, our underwater structure, covering up, eggs and things and messing up our wildlife. Going forward, I think that is something very critical. I don't know if we can ever get Mobile Bay clear again, although I'd sure like to help with this seagrass restoration, to maybe make that possible. But we've got to protect our natural resources. And with Mobile Bay, I don't think there's a better one, a bigger one that we can protect.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. I like the way you explained it. A delicate ecosystem, because it is, man. It's from the top to the bottom to the seagrass. Everything was made by the big man for specific purposes. And whenever you mess one of those up, it throws it all out of whack.
Yeah. And look, we're going to, economically, we're going to have impacts on our environment. We have to minimize it. And every way we can, we need to, get it back. Look, I'd love it to look just like it did when the Spanish explorers first pulled in here, and they called it the Bay of the Holy Spirit. Yeah. I think that tells you, how beautiful and what a treasure the good Lord's given us in this bay, and we've got to protect it.
What do projects like Brookley by the Bay and the 3 Mile Creek Greenway Trail mean for residents, both environmentally and economically?
Man, you're an outdoorsman. You love to be outside, as
Always.
maybe even more than me. I'll tell you what. Being outside during this July and August heat, I've been enjoying some indoor time. But there's something about sunshine and fresh air. It is medicine that you can't buy at the store. And when people are looking at where they want to live, they want to know that they can enjoy the outdoors and spend time out in God's creation. And so I see those projects as those quality of life projects as essential. I want more people choosing to live in our area. I want more businesses choosing to invest in our area. And so, cycle trails like 3 Mile. We've done a lot of good things. We've got some really good, stations created. We got to get it connected. Um, when it comes to Brookley by the Bay, I think Brookley by the Bay is going to be the crown jewel of our park system. We've got plans to invest a good chunk of money into it, and it's going to be incredible. And I can't wait to get there. But I'll tell you, with all the priorities we have, with some infrastructure issues and other things, it's not quite a top priority right now. But what is a top priority for me is to get it open to the public. Look, I've been out there, with permission. It's closed to the public, but I've been out there. Look, give me a weed eater and let me put a parking lot out there. It's beautiful right now.
Yeah, we'll get it fixed up.
Oh man, it's not. We don't have to invest $25 million to make that park something amazing. And I want to see it happen soon. I really love. There are stories that I've heard, and I know it's true because I've talked to people who experience this. People that grow up in Mobile, down the bay, down Broad Street, living within a few football fields of the bay, and had never seen it with their eyes.
Wow.
When you can expand people's horizons and their experience, it helps them to understand what's possible for their lives in the world. I want Brookley by the Bay to be that place where a kid with a cane pole and a little tackle box can walk himself over. Hopefully, I'll have him some trolleys to get him over there, but walk over there, experience the natural wonders of our area. Maybe a little kayak launch, look, some walking and biking trails. That's all we need for that area to be absolutely amazing right now. So getting that open to the public is another top priority of mine. I'm gonna find the dollars we need to get that clean and accessible for our citizens.
Yeah, just opening up access to that beauty that we all love so much. And like you said earlier, it is very revitalizing for me just to sit on the water, just to sit in the woods, man, and just be.
Boy, that still silence, and the ripple of some waves hitting the bank, it does something to you.
Yeah,
And
it can work wonders.
I want everybody to be able to experience that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that, man. Well, before we let you go, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 1 year into your term. What's one thing or two things, if you have two things in mind, that you hope local business owners and, fishermen, outdoorsmen can say about the changes that you've made?
I hope by that point we will have a concrete plan on what to do with our dredge pools, whether that's some upper marsh islands, whether that's, reinvigorating some of our wetlands areas. I want that plan to be set and in place. And that it won't just be me. It will be in partnership with a lot of, good people. But I want to see that done and put to bed. And so we have a plan we're working towards. Look, we got a public transportation system. I think about it a lot. We spend about $15 million into it every year, only getting 6 million out. I want to see some trolleys dinging around this city, getting people to where they're going, making our city more accessible for tourism, making it easier for people to get to work. Folks without a vehicle to get to work, get that first job, or maybe get to work at a job they've been working for 20 years and saving some cost on their transportation. I want to see those trolleys begin to be implemented by this first year. There are some things I want to do with different neighborhoods. We need to revitalize our neighborhoods. We have a lot of historic neighborhoods that are really forgotten.
Beautiful homes,
I
beautiful.
mean, beautiful, turn of the century houses, shotgun houses that need to be preserved. And I want to use different mechanism, whether it's housing improvement programs or TIF districts, to really inject more money into those neighborhoods to make sure that we're preserving what we still have. Some people ask me, hey, why isn't Mobile more like Charleston and Savannah? Well, I think there's a few reasons. One thing that's true is we've got more historic houses and historic buildings than those two places put together.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure we're preserving them, and we need to really increase access to our waterfront. I want to be able to take my family down to the waterfront right here in downtown Mobile, grab a bite to eat, spend a little time, watch a sunset. That's something that it's going to be a long-term goal. If I'm the next mayor of Mobile, it's going to take some time to fully get it done. But there's some projects that I think, especially by reducing the width and size of Water Street, I want to see that plan moving forward. There's some plans out there that would make it so much more walkable. And until we can really connect our downtown to that waterfront, Mobile's not going to reach its full potential. So I'll be pursuing that in every way I can.
Very cool, man. Yeah, that would be like you say, it'd be really cool to be able to walk downtown, grab a bite to eat, and then just walk, just
Yeah.
take a waterfront stroll.
And look, I promise I will be working on places where you might be able to come out that river that you live near and on your boat and find a place to dock and get out and spend a little time and money downtown and around Mobile. I certainly would welcome that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we definitely need some more of that for sure.
And we gotta watch out for our port. I don't want to mess up our port activity. It's the engine of our state. But I want some recreational boaters to be able to get out and enjoy our city.
Yep, absolutely. And talking about the dredging of the shipping channel, I think everybody wants to find a happy medium between, the commerce that we absolutely have to have here for the revenue, for the jobs, for everything, and preserving our bay. No, we're not trying to stop the local economy or slow down the shipping. We just need to do it right, like you say.
We can do both. We can do both, and I'm excited about the number of people who see the need for that, but that are actively looking for solutions.
Good, good. Well, Spiro, it's been a pleasure, man. I always enjoy catching up with you. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to jump on with me. If people want to learn more about you or learn more about the campaign or just get more information, what's the best way for them to find you guys?
Yeah, they can find us at spiroformayor.com. That's SPIROFOR mayor.com. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the same places. You can message us there. You can email me directly at Spiro, SPIRO, at spiroformayor.com. And if you really need to get me, Butch has got my cell phone number. Get in contact with him. He'll get you to me. But I hope people will check us out. It's going to take every boat to win this race. I want Mobile to keep moving forward, not backwards. And that'll be my goal every day. I wake up and get to serve. And so I'm just working and praying about it, man. That's all I know to do.
Yep, me too, brother. Hoping things work out well for you on September 23rd. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you've done so far and looking forward to seeing what's in store for you in the future.
I look forward to celebrating with a fishing trip with you.
That's a deal. Thanks, Spiro. Enjoyed it, buddy.
Always a pleasure.
That segment was brought to you by Southeastern Pond Management. Since 1989, Southeastern Pond Management has been a leader in pond and lake management services, helping landowners across the Southeast turn their ponds into thriving fisheries. Whether you're building a new lake, improving water quality, or growing trophy bass, their team combines science and experience to get real results. From electrofishing to custom stocking plans, they do it all. Schedule an obligation-free consultation today. Call 1-888-830-POND or email info@sepond.com. Southeastern Pond Management, bringing your pond to life. Learn more at sepond.com. And also brought to you by Pure Flats. Pure Flats slick lures are tried, true, and guide approved. Slick lures catch big speckled trout, redfish, flounder, and more. You can cast them a mile and they produce a highly erratic baitfish imitation with a twitching retrieve. The tournament-winning slick has helped many anglers set personal best records. Whether fishing the OG slick, the smaller profile slick junior, or the versatile little slick, one is sure to find that unforgettable thump we're all after. Visit your local tackle retailer or pureflats.com for your favorite color and rigging combination. Go sling some slicks today. You can't catch them on the sofa. And also brought to you by, are you getting the best possible results from your electronics? BOW Blue Water Marine Service is your complete marine supply store. Whether you're needing routine maintenance or you're looking to upgrade your current system, BOW Blue Water Marine Service is your one-stop shop for fish finders, transducers, marine ACs, marine generators, radars, marine satellite TV, Wi-Fi, and much more. They're an authorized sales and service center for major brands like Raymarine, Simrad, Garmin, Cummins Onan, and Cruise Air, just to name a few. They also do marine stereos, speakers, and electronic sales and repairs. Give them a shout at 251-943-4179 or stop by today at 8103 South Highway 59 in Foley, Alabama. And also brought to you by, is your diesel engine showing signs of low power or excessive engine smoke? If so, you may be in need of a repair to your diesel fuel injection system. Test Calibration has been selling and servicing diesel turbochargers and fuel injection systems since 1976 and are up to date with all of the latest diesel technology. No matter if you're running a diesel in your boat, tractor, or truck, Test Calibration can help you. Contact them at 800-822-0057 or visit them online at testcalibratindieselandturbo.com. And also brought to you by Admiral Shellfish. Admiral oysters are available at select restaurants and can also be purchased by the public at Bon Secours Fisheries Inc. and Ahi Seafood in Fairhope, Alabama. Call for availability. From a simple, nutrient-dense appetizer at home or a shucking party with friends, Admiral oysters will steal the show. Follow our adventures on Instagram at Admiral Shellfish Co. And also brought to you by, the days of heading out blindly looking for good fishing areas are pretty much over. Don't waste time and money on fuel searching for fish. You need the most recent, highest resolution images to not only know where to go, but where not to go. The knowledge provided by today's technology is critical when planning an offshore fishing trip. Make the choice that professional captains all over the Gulf make and choose Hilton's Real-Time Navigator. The easy-to-use interface and excellent customer service will have you on the fish every time you go. Check it out at hiltonsoffshore.com. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up this week. You guys, please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to text ALSFR to 779-345-2918 to get that free AFCO promo code for your camo sunglasses cleaner cloth, and also to be added to our email list, and we'll send you the new show each week. You guys be safe out there. We'll talk to y'all next week.